Right now, inside your body, there are cells that should be dead. They didn't get the message. They stopped doing their job, stopped dividing. But they're still sitting there, and they're not sitting quietly. They're leaking inflammatory chemicals into everything around them. Toxic little time bombs, corrupting healthy cells one by one. Scientists call them senescent cells. Most people know them by a better name, zombie cells. And after 50, they're multiplying faster than your body can clean them up. But here's what nobody's told you yet. 5 ordinary foods can hunt them down. Welcome to Second Prime, where science meets your second chapter. Today we're going deep into one of the most exciting areas in longevity research, senolytics. Specifically, how to get these cell-clearing compounds from food, not from 80-liter supplement bottles. Stick around because food number 3 is one most people eat every week without knowing what it's actually doing. So, what exactly is a zombie cell? Here's the simplest way I can explain it. Every cell in your body has a job. When it gets damaged by UV radiation, stress, a virus, just the wear of time, it faces a choice. Option 1, repair itself. Option 2, trigger a self-destruct sequence called apoptosis, clean death. The cell dies, your immune system sweeps it up, done. But sometimes option 3 happens. The cell gets stuck. It doesn't repair. It doesn't die. It just stops and goes into a permanent standby mode. That's senescence, the zombie state. Now, in younger bodies, this has a purpose. Senescent cells actually help wound healing and prevent tumors from spreading. Your immune system normally hunts them down pretty efficiently. The problem starts when your immune system slows with age, which it does, predictably, after 50. And those zombie cells start piling up faster than they're being cleared. Here's where it gets serious. These zombie cells don't just sit there passively. They actively secrete a cocktail of inflammatory proteins. Scientists call this the SASP, the senescence-associated secretory phenotype. Think of it as chemical pollution. These SASP proteins spread inflammation to healthy neighboring cells, damage collagen in your skin and joints, promote insulin resistance, and raise your risk for cancer, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. Research shows some aged tissues can accumulate up to 15% senescent cells. That's 1 in 7 cells in certain tissues actively poisoning the tissue around it. And the SASP includes well-studied culprits like IL-6 and TNF-alpha, the same inflammatory markers that predict almost every chronic age-related disease. This is why Dr. James Kirkland at Mayo Clinic calls senescent cell clearance one of the most promising frontiers in aging medicine. So, what do we do about it? Food number 1, strawberries. The compound you care about is Fisetin. In 2018, a team led by Drs. Kirkland and Chkonia at the Mayo Clinic published a landmark study in eBiomedicine. They tested 10 natural compounds for senolytic activity, the ability to selectively destroy senescent cells while leaving healthy ones alone. Fisetin came out on top, the most potent natural senolytic they found. In both mouse tissue and human tissue samples, Fisetin dramatically reduced senescence markers, and in aged mice, it extended median and maximum lifespan, with late-life intervention alone. That last detail matters. You don't have to have been eating this your whole life. Starting now counts. Fisetin is found in several fruits, But strawberries have by far the highest concentration, about 160 micrograms per gram, roughly 5 to 10 times more than apples or grapes. The dose many researchers reference is around 100 milligrams of Fisetin, equivalent to about 37 strawberries. The emerging approach suggests periodic higher intake days rather than tiny daily amounts. But even adding strawberries regularly puts you meaningfully ahead of where most people are. Food number 2, onions, and also capers, which most people don't know are one of the richest dietary sources on Earth. The compound here is quercetin. You've probably seen quercetin supplements everywhere lately. Here's why. In 2019, researchers at the Mayo Clinic and Scripps Research ran the first human clinical trial using a senolytic combination, dasatinib, a leukemia medication paired with quercetin. In patients with a serious kidney condition, this reduced the senescent cell burden in fat tissue within just 11 days. That's fast. Now, dasatinib is a prescription drug with real side effects. But the quercetin half, you can eat it. Quercetin is the most abundant dietary flavonoid in the human diet. Red onions are among the richest sources, up to 100 milligrams per medium onion. Capers contain even more, between 180 and 235 milligrams per 100 grams. Apples, kale, broccoli, all solid too. The key thing to know, bioavailability is variable. Fat and vitamin C both increase absorption significantly. So cooking onions in olive oil? That's actually the smart move. If that one surprised you, smash the like button. It really does help us reach more people. Food number 3, wheat germ and aged cheese. And I promise this one is more interesting than it sounds. The compound is spermidine. Stay with me. Spermidine is a naturally occurring polyamine found in every living cell, and it's one of the most powerful autophagy activators we know of. Autophagy is your body's cellular recycling system. When it's running well, it breaks down damaged proteins and cellular debris, including senescent cell components. Think of it as your internal cleaning crew. The problem? Autophagy declines sharply with age, and spermidine levels in the body follow. Here's the science. The Bruneck study tracked 829 people aged 45 to 84 for 20 years, analyzing the dietary polyamine intake of every participant against mortality outcomes. Spermidine showed the strongest inverse relationship with death of all 146 nutrients analyzed. Those in the highest third of intake had a 26% lower risk of dying from any cause. For a dietary finding, that's remarkable. The richest food source? Wheat germ. About 243 milligrams per kilogram. 2 tablespoons stirred into your morning oatmeal is an easy daily habit. Aged hard cheeses like Parmesan are also excellent sources. Another reason not to ditch dairy entirely. Now, foods 4 and 5 work differently from the first 3. They don't kill zombie cells outright. They do something arguably smarter, and Food 5 has a 2025 human study behind it that genuinely stopped me when I read it. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. We put out new longevity science every Monday and Thursday. Let's keep going. Food number 4, turmeric. This one works differently. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, is classified as a xenomorphic rather than a strict senolytic. Here's the distinction. Senolytics kill senescent cells. Xenomorphics don't destroy them. Instead, they silence the SASP. They mute the toxic chemical output without necessarily triggering cell death. Think of it as putting a zombie in a soundproof room. Less dramatic, but the inflammatory damage stops. A 2023 study found that dietary curcumin attenuated hepatic cellular senescence in aged mice by suppressing the MAPK and NF-kB pathways, two main drivers of the SASP cascade. And then there's the 2025 human study from Aging US. Researchers studied men aged 50 to 72 over an 8-week dietary intervention. Those who consumed more methyl-adaptogen foods, including turmeric, green tea, berries, and garlic, showed significantly greater reductions in epigenetic age on Horvath's clock, one of the most validated biological age tests we have. The bioavailability caveat with turmeric is real. Curcumin absorbs poorly on its own. Black pepper's piperine compound increases absorption by up to 2,000%, so always pair them. Golden milk with a pinch of black pepper isn't just a wellness trend. It's the right call chemically. Food number 5, green tea. This is the one that genuinely surprised me. The compound is EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. EGCG is a potent autophagy activator, and it has direct senolytic adjacent effects too. A study published in Aging Cell found that long-term EGCG consumption in mice mitigated multiple aspects of cellular senescence across both dividing and non-dividing tissues. It suppressed senescent marker proteins, restored autophagy flux, and improved immune function, all simultaneously. That's a broad-spectrum anti-senescence effect from a single compound. The mice also showed roughly a 25% increase in median lifespan. Now, I'll be straight with you. The dose in that study works out to about 8 cups of green tea a day for a human, not realistic daily. But here's where the 2025 human trial lands. In that same Aging US epigenetic age study, green tea and oolong tea were among the foods with the strongest linear association with epigenetic age reduction. Real amounts, real people, real results on a validated biological age clock. 2 to 4 cups a day appears to be a meaningful dose, and matcha, ground whole green tea leaves, gives you higher EGCG concentration per serving than steeped tea, worth rotating in. So, how do you put this together practically? Here's a simple framework based on the current research.